Permit me to congratulate you for the able manner in which you are chairing our deliberations this afternoon. And I also want to commend the government of Egypt for the quality of their presentation. I'm Rémy Ngoy, Lumbu, Special Rapporteur on Human Rights Defenders. And I have some questions which I want to bring to your attention. Initially, I want to find out whether the Egyptian government is aware of the guidelines on freedom of assembly and meeting in Africa. Now, do you take into consideration, did you take into consideration the guidelines during the preparation of Law 149 of 2019 on civil society? Secondly, I want the delegation to explain how Article 14 of Law 149/2019, which provides that civil society organizations have to contribute to the development of society, taking into account the development plan of the Egyptian state. And now, doesn't this law limit civil society organizations? Thirdly, I want to request the delegation to provide clarifications on the administrative unit established at the Ministry of Social Solidarity to supervise and control civil society organizations. Now, can you expatiate on that? Now, regarding Law 149/2019, we want the delegation to, and here is Article 14, now it's now 15. Article 15, which prohibits civil society organizations from carrying out service of studies without the approval of the authorities, and Article 45, which authorizes the sector minister to suspend the organization and its office for a maximum of 1 year, and also which prohibits from all organizations in Egypt or outside without the approval of the authorities. Now, these articles, don't they restrict CSOs? Because we are in a globalized world, so how can we prohibit the organization from engaging with the environment in which they operate, that is in Egypt and the external world? Other commission, we have guidelines on maintaining order during demonstrations by security forces in Africa. Now, we want to find out whether you are aware of the soft law, and whether the government of Egypt, whether it intends to use the guidelines within the framework of the amendment of the existing legislative text on freedom of assembly. Now, sixth question: on what basis can the security forces prohibit demonstration on the basis of Law 107? On what basis can they prohibit demonstration under Law 107/113? Do you have any provisions on the need to justify the ban? Now, do we have any appeal? Can they appeal such prohibitions? Well, we have also received Law 107. Now, we want to find out on what basis can security forces prohibit demonstration on the basis of Law 107. Now, so you use legal basis to prohibit the demonstration. Do you have any provisions which provide the need to notify the authorities when there is demonstration? And if there are forms of appeal, how can the civil society organization appeal? Now, the Commission has also received allegations according to Law 107 provides for heavy fines for vaguely defined activities. Now, the delegation is requested to explained that that is the heavy fines or imposed on civil society organizations. Now, on excessive use of force to disperse peaceful demonstration, I want to find out from the government of Egypt to mention, to list those who were, that is the current reporting period, who are the security forces that were sanctioned for the use of excessive force during the period. Now, on human rights defenders, there is a law which protects all citizens. Now, what are the specific measures that seek to protect, in particular, human rights defenders in Egypt? Now, do you envisage to promulgate a law to protect human rights defenders? Because our mechanism recommends to states to adopt such laws, and in the absence of such law, how do you protect these categories of human rights defenders? Now, this question, which has been raised by many, do you envisage ratifying the African Protocol, establishing the African Court of Human and People's Rights, and submit declaration on the Article 106, which enables NGOs and individuals to seize the court? Now, I have some questions on the independence of the judiciary. What are the legal and institutional guarantees put in place to ensure to ensure the independence of the judiciary in your country? Especially, are the criteria used for selecting judges, are they objective, or is the selection done on partisan basis? Can you provide more clarification on the process of appointment of judges in your country? I have an additional question, Chair. I think that I have 2 minutes left, so I shall pose 2 questions. On what legal basis does the judicial government justify the prosecution of human rights defenders, including lawyers? Because the reports that we receive frequent reports of human rights lawyers being prosecuted under anti-terrorist laws, and most of them are accused of terrorism, and a lot of them are now are outside the country, and then often those who are victims often draw attention to this issue. Now, lastly, what are the measures that the government intends to adopt to release political prisoners or prisoners of opinion, and these prisoners for exercising their right to freedom of assembly? There are a lot of people who are being unjustifiably held. How many have been released between 2019 and 2024? That is prisoners of conscience or political prisoners, and especially the statistics. We want to know how many of them are still in prison. Chairperson, when you gave me the floor, and I want to thank you and also thank the government of Egypt for the response to their questions posed. Now, I give the floor to